Hay un nombre que calma todo temor, un amor que consuela el más intenso dolor. Es fiel a sus promesas y me cuidará. De mi fe es el ancla, nunca fallará. Todo va a estar bien, everything will be alright. El mundo en su mano está, tu mundo en su mano está. El creador del universo venció toda ansiedad. Tu mundo en su mano está y todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien.
Padre, te confieso a corazón abierto que todo es muy incierto en este desierto. Mi vulnerabilidad está al descubierto. Siento que mi barca está muy lejos de su puerto. ¿Por qué será que ya no sale el sol en mis días? ¿Por qué mis noches son tan frías? ¿Por qué será que siento que me falta algo? ¿Por qué este camino gris se siente tan largo? Sé que estás sobrando aunque no te sienta. Sé que estás sobrando aunque no te vea. Sé que voy a salir de esta odisea. Sé que voy a ganar esta pelea. Sé que va a cesar esta marea temporaria. Que en ti yo viviré una vida extraordinaria. Que aunque no pueda entender, me consuela saber que
todo va a estar bien. Everything will be alright. El mundo en su mano está. Tu mundo en su mano está. El creador del universo venció toda ansiedad. El mundo en su mano está y todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, todo va a estar bien.
Santo es el que reina, santo en las alturas, santo aquí en la tierra, santo en el pesebre, santo en el sepulcro, santa es su sangre derramada en la cruz. Santo es el que vive, santo es el que reina, santo en las alturas, santo aquí en la tierra, santo en el pesebre, santo en el sepulcro, santa es su sangre derramada en la cruz.
Corrió su sangre por el madero, a él no le mataron, se entregó primero. De tal manera amó Jesús, que entregó su vida en la cruz. No dijo nada, no abrió su boca, le hieren, le golpean, pero él perdona. De tal manera amó Jesús, que entregó su vida en la cruz.
Santo es el que vive, santo es el que reina, santo en las alturas, santo aquí en la tierra, santo en el pesebre, santo en el sepulcro, santa es su sangre derramada en la cruz. Santo es el que vive, santo es el que reina, santo en las alturas, santo aquí en la tierra, santo en el pesebre, santo en el sepulcro, santa es su sangre derramada en la cruz. lo verán, como un rey en las nubes volverá, coronado en poder y autoridad, el Cordero y León reinará, y todos lo verán, como un rey en las nubes volverá, coronado en poder y autoridad, el Cordero y León reinará. Todos lo verán, como un rey en las nubes volverá, coronado en poder y autoridad, el Cordero y León reinará. Y santo es el que vive, santo es el que reina, y santo en las alturas, santo aquí en la tierra, santo en el pesebre, santo en el sepulcro, santa es su sangre derramada y en la cruz. Y santo es el que vive, santo es el que reina, santo en las alturas, santo aquí en la tierra, santo en el pesebre, santo en el sepulcro, santa es su sangre derramada y en la cruz. Todos lo verán, como el rey en las nubes volverá, coronado en poder y autoridad, el Cordero y León reinará. Todos lo verán, como un rey en las nubes volverá, coronado en poder y autoridad, el Cordero y León reinará. Santo, santo, santo es Jesús de Nazaret. Santo, santo, santo es Jesús de Nazaret. Él se merece todo, Él es santo, le sobran las coronas, sencillo y humilde ser. No hay
When Jesus says yes, when Jesus says nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no.
It is time for Yes with Yesse. Please welcome your host, Yesenia Leva.
Here with you guys just to talk a little bit of this, a little bit of that, as it pertains to, of course, community and services and law and all this awesome stuff that just really make us one, that makes us us, right? And so apologies for the time right now, technical difficulties. Made it on time and everything, excited, ready to go. And of course, beautiful technical difficulties. So I hope you guys can hear me. That would be awesome. If you're out there, let me know that you can hear me. So thank you for joining. As you come on, please share the broadcast. Let others know that we are on here on Yes with Yesse. Here with you guys, typically on Thursdays around 6 o'clock in the evening time. So thank you for joining. And I want to go ahead as we begin. I want to say thank you to all of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's going up slowly but surely to Yes with Yesse. So if you haven't done so, please do so. Subscribe. Subscribe to a couple things, as a matter of fact. Please subscribe to New Season Gospel FM, all one word, New Season Gospel FM. And that way you turn on your notification bell and you don't miss a beat. And as you're doing that, please subscribe to Yes with Yesse on YouTube to be able to receive notifications of the different things and projects that I will be posting as I go on Yes with Yesse. Again, a platform where I talk all things community, disability. You'll see things that I've been able to do in previous years as far as activities and fashion shows and all this awesome stuff that I'm so grateful to have had and have the opportunity to do. So again, subscribe to Yes with Yesse. Same thing, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a beat. I've actually been posting more there and posting reels and you guys will see. So, just to get a little bit more insight of what Yes with Yesse is all about in real life, in real life, if you will, subscribe to Yes with Yesse. Pastor Akio, good evening. Thank you for joining. Again, as you guys come on, I see some of you are on. Please say hello. Say hello. Let us know where you are listening from. I would greatly appreciate that. Pastor Akio, as always, thank you for joining. And so, let me know what's going on in your side of the world, in your neck of the woods, in this thing called life. I know for me personally, so much has been going on in a good way. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. It's sometimes overwhelming, and sometimes I can't, I wish I could be everywhere. I really do. I wish I could be everywhere, and I wish I can do everything, and I wish I can be there for everybody. It's just, but we're human. We can only do so much. So sometimes when I'm not here, I want to be here, but something's happening, whether it's work, client, life, something. But when I'm here, I'm grateful for this opportunity and grateful to be here with all of you, our listeners. So thank you guys as always for joining. Thank you, those of you listening on newseasonfm.com. Thank you for being there, and everyone around the globe. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome as always. And so as we dive into Yes with Yesse, I mentioned so many things going on, as part of my work and advocacy and all that. I have to be mindful of what's going on, what's going on in government and how it affects us, how it affects me specifically, and then how it affects us as a people, as individuals with disabilities, the elderly, and all that good stuff, right? So it could definitely have a toll on you emotionally if you're not careful. So it's really hard though to disconnect from something that affects your everyday life and your future at that. It's very, very difficult. But gotta do what you gotta do, right? So one of the things for those of us that live with a disability, that are advocates, that are active advocates, I went through a period of growth, continued growth, and emotional stuff, and just life happenings where I wasn't really doing much in the disability community as I was prior to that. And so now I'm in recent times, I should say, I'm getting back into it and just paying more attention, and like, I need to be doing that, and I need to do this, without overwhelming myself and overdoing it. And this is one of the things, it's advocating. Like I'm always advocating, but to this state level, I haven't done that in a couple of years. And I think it's super duper important that we represent well, and that we represent those with disabilities that go through these situations, whatever those situations might be, right? And so very important that we stay active, stay representing in the positive light, and sharing our stories, sharing our truth of what we live. And so this specific topic, as I was reading through disability news, is it affects a lot of people. It affects a lot of people. So specifically 9 states, including Florida, the state of Florida, are suing over the right for people with disabilities to live in the community. What does that mean? So these particular or specific 9 states, including Florida, are being mandated to obligate people with disabilities to live in institutions, places known as institutions, like nursing homes, perhaps group homes, and any institutional type of setting, right? So they're obligating people with disabilities to live in these kind of settings for a lot of reasons. Okay, for a lot of reasons. For reasons that are understandable and others that are not. And I think for me, it depends more on the level of disability of the individual, not so much other factors, but the level of need, the level of disability, the level of independence or lack thereof. All of these things matter when mandating that people with disabilities live in these institutionalized type of settings. And so the argument, though, they're arguing that in about 2024, there was an update in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services as it pertained to community services and community integration of individuals with disabilities as opposed to institutions, right? So institutions, though, it's kind of like unconstitutional, right? It's something that so many of us are against because it is against the mandate that people with disabilities be again included and integrated into community. So here I am advocating as an advocate for inclusion in the community, and then comes these unconstitutional, unaccessible, and uninclusive places such as the ones that I just mentioned, because it's against the mandate that people with disabilities be integrated in community. And the rule for integration, it says and it indicates that it can be a violation of section 504. And the section 504 law specifically relates to individuals with disabilities, community living, integration, and all that stuff. So we're kind of going against one thing with the other, right? We have all these like legalities and laws and things that man is putting into place, where in recent times, by the way, where we have these things such as the 504 and the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, that promotes and fights for inclusion of people with disabilities, and here we continue to isolate people with disabilities into these specific places of living. That's where the problem lies. That's where the problem lies, and that's where it can be a violation of the Section 504, the Americans with Disabilities Act, etc. And really, people with disabilities are being put at risk of unnecessary institutionalization. I remember back in the day when my family first moved out of state and I would go visit. It was beautiful state. And it was beautiful that in every apartment complex, I believe I've talked about it before, in almost every apartment complex, the first floor, the first level of that building was with apartments that are ADA accessible, ADA compliant for individuals with disabilities, including seniors. And so people with disabilities had a more positive chance of being integrated and living in community amongst everybody else. And that to me was like, all right, I'll consider I'll consider moving to South Carolina one day. I didn't, clearly. But, you know, when it makes sense, though, for the purposes of our independence, our independent living as we get older, fortunately, we have to look into that. You know, where are these places, these states that are accessible for people with disabilities, both with accessibility, living, and financially? Because it doesn't make any sense that you have an accessible apartment building and it costs more than twice of what I make between work and whatever pension you get with Social Security, disability, SSI, veteran services, or anything at all, right? So what is the cost of living? How much rent are we paying? All these different things that come into play when it pertains to individuals with disabilities and community living services and the lack thereof, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot, but that's a hot topic that is a hot topic now, and will always be a hot topic, because one thing that we will always need as people with disabilities, as people, period, right? Because I focus on the disability, but really everyone can relate to it. We are all going to need a roof over our head at all times in our lives, even as you get older. You know, that's why we have those 55 and over buildings, or the famous Century Village for the elderly. So why not make it accessible, make community living accessible for all people with disabilities? And so it goes beyond that, right? It is assumed, or I don't even know if to say that it is assumed, but you know, it is it's where the powers at be consider that institutionalizing individuals with disabilities, placing them in these homes, placing them in these group homes, is more cost effective than allowing them to be independent in community, in society, in their own home. Again, for the people that need that and that cannot be on their own and that are financially dependent on all these things, I can understand. But we all as individuals with disabilities are being put in the same pot as that particular group. I don't like saying that, but as that particular group of people, we as those that are more independent, more able to do things for ourselves and work and make money and make a living and, you know, do things for ourselves independently in the house, we're being put in that same pot with everybody else that perhaps cannot be as independent, right? I'm one of them. I always talk from experience. I'm one of them. And so why? How is it more cost effective for you to penalize individuals with disabilities that are high functioning and independent, and kind of penalize us for that by placing us in this pot with everybody else, when in reality I should be able to work, I should be able to have my own business and make a lot of money according to my skills, my talents, and my abilities and my needs. I should be able to pay into my taxes and all these other things that we do as people in general. I should be able to live in community and be able to do all of these things just like everybody else, should I have the ability to. I should not be worried, or no one with a particular disability shouldn't be worried about, well, what's going to happen to us when our family members are no longer around? What's going to happen to us when our parents are no longer around? Why should we live with that worry simply because the government says if you make more than a certain amount of money, you're going to lose your benefits? Why, when unfortunately we do not have low income and accessible housing available, at least not in the state of Florida? And because the power that be and the state level lacks these things for us, and lacks so many things, lacks the ability to provide this for us, we are being penalized and being pushed into institutions and being pushed into group homes and being, you know, pushed to live with family members and so on for the rest of our lives. Why, when I'm working, when I'm an entrepreneur, when I pay taxes, when I do all these things to ensure that I have a high level of independence as possible? And yes, I learned that we are not all independent 110%, that we are all interdependent of one another. Yes, absolutely. But there comes a time and comes certain things in life that we have to consider our independence, where we're going to live, how we're going to get around, how we're going to put food on our table, because everybody's going through it. Everybody goes through it. Everyone's going through it. And so why help me help you? Like, help us be able to help ourselves as best as possible for a better tomorrow. So many things. And so that is definitely something that is hot right now, but not just right now. It always is. It's definitely something that is always of concern. I've talked about it before. Okay, my mom is 60. My dad is about 70. It's going to be 70. Don't tell him I told you. And then that leads my siblings, my older brother and my younger sister. You know, so it's a big deal of something to think about now. What's going to happen when my parents are no longer around? It's a scary thing to think about. It is a scary thing to think about. And I think that we as individuals with disabilities should be given the opportunity to plan ahead, to plan accordingly, just like everybody else, right? We have our will and all these different things. Do you know what happens if I have a will? If I write out a will, if I save more than an X amount of thousands of dollars in my account and it's not very much, I lose the little that I get as it pertains to my medical insurance, the state Medicaid, the Social Security. It's not about the money of the Social Security. It's about the insurance. It's about the medical. I lose all of that according to the government, because God's my provider. According to the government, because God's my provider, I lose all of that if I have too much money saved in the bank account, or if I have, if I own more than one house, or if I own more than one car. The more I have, what worse it is as it pertains to what I will be able to obtain and have in the future, even now or in the future. So it's a very tricky place to be in. It's a very, very tricky place to be in, and we are fighting that every single day of our lives. Every single day of our lives. So if you say, you know what, this is not for me, that's not what I'm going through, thank God. Thank God that it's not something that you are facing right now. But I do want everyone to understand that just because you're not facing it right now doesn't mean that you will never face it, and doesn't mean that it will never affect you, and it doesn't mean that it will never happen to someone that is close to you, because it can happen to anybody at any given time in your life. And that is something that is very important for us to understand. And if you're someone that some way somehow has the ability to make a difference, I would encourage you to do that, to be the voice of those of us that are struggling with these situations, because I feel like the more we speak as advocates of people with disabilities, they're tired of listening to us. So where are the people that are going to fight or to advocate on our behalf? Where are those people that are going to fight on our behalf? But in order for you to fight on our behalf, you have to understand where we're coming from. You have to understand the struggle. As we hear, the struggle is real. You have to understand that struggle in order for you to be able to advocate accordingly. So I encourage you. That's why I encourage you to learn. I encourage you to read and just really understand the struggles of all people. And we're going through so much division right now. You guys already know. I don't even have to be too specific. But we are going through so much division right now that when I tell you it hurts my heart, because that's not what I believe in. It's not what this country stands for. We have hardworking people of all cultural backgrounds. Like, I'm a people person. If you already know I am a people person. So it really, hits in a whole another level when people are mistreated and disrespected and all that. So the same way, we have to speak up, because it's going to start with us as the one not being affected, to speak up, to say something, to make a difference, to have the uncomfortable conversations. And that's exactly how I feel as it pertains to the disability related services, or lack thereof. There's more of a lack thereof than actually exists. It's so much going on. And as a matter of fact, for those of you that are local, that are in our local area, this Friday, tomorrow, I have an awesome opportunity to be on one of our local news stations, Channel 7. So look out, because it will be airing soon, and I will be posting soon, and we will be talking about the disability services that are available to people with disabilities through my disability programs and training. And we will be talking about the lack thereof, and why this is so important, why it's so important to get the support of our community for disability programs and training, why it's so important to service people across the board. I intentionally am creating an environment, if you will, for this story, where everyone is included in sharing their testimony and their story, from white, black, Hispanic, other, I don't care, because disability doesn't discriminate, so why should we? And I will say that forever. So I want the community, the public, the world to know disability is something that can and will affect everyone, no matter what, and that everyone needs service now, for the now and for the tomorrow. And so we are looking for the sponsors and the funders and the donors to really pour into disability programs and training, for us to be able to continue to do the work on a whole other level. And if that means talking and sharing and going to the White House or getting on media attention, which I love, then that's how it's gonna be. That's what I'm gonna do. And so it gotta be more than one person, though. It can't be only one person, because I know I'm not the only one affected by it. I'm not the only one that is passionate about it. So we have to do what we can to come together in unity to advocate for all things services, disabilities, and all things community and people. We are one. We are one. We always hear when one hurts, everybody hurts, and that is true. That is definitely, that's true. If you have a humble heart and you are a Christ follower, when one hurts, everybody hurts. And there's certain things that I wouldn't do because I physically can't do it. Like uh, I won't disrespect myself doing certain things. I won't doing anything, but I won't disrespect myself and people with disabilities putting a bad face to it, or a violent face to it, or any of that stuff. But I will use my voice, and I will encourage others to use their voice, their testimonies, and their stories to make a difference. And I think that's what we should do. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And you guys got to keep in mind, I live, breathe, and everything else this world every single day. Not only do I live it for me, and I talk about these topics for myself and for those that are also affected by it, but I work in the group home setting. I've seen it all. I communicate with individuals with disabilities every day. I know what it's like to see them joyful and happy and upset and mad, and behavior issues, and they come up to me and they say thank you just for treating them like a human. Or I had a one of my boys the other day, earlier this week, who doesn't speak, but I give him his food every day, and we entertain them and all that stuff. And though he's nonverbal, he doesn't speak, he gave me a kiss on my hand, kind of like saying thank you for caring. And I'm like, oh my God, that's all I need. I don't need a dollar sign. That is all I need. The only kind of thank you that I need, to know that what I do matters, and that I have to continue to advocate for these individuals and myself, because I am their voice when they have none. And so are you. And so I encourage you not to turn your head, not to say that doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to worry about it. I encourage you to use your voice. I encourage you to fight for the respect of every individual, with and without disabilities, regardless of cultural background, etc. Respect is respect. Dignity and respect, and where we choose to live, with the supports that we need and the people that we need in our lives, is self-respect. A self-respect that has been taken away, a part of dignity that has been taken away from individuals with disabilities. I will never forget when I went to Tallahassee advocating for this very similar topic, and a representative, the representatives, more than one, said to me, wait. If this doesn't change right now, if this budget situation and these service situations doesn't change right now, will it affect you? And I said, not right now, because I live at home. I live with my family. I'm right now I'm okay. And they're like, all right, well, next, because it wasn't affecting me right there at that moment, not understanding that I was advocating for the future and how it would benefit, how it would affect me in a negative way in the future, like now, or even later in the future. We have to change that mindset, providers and those people that have the ability to make a difference. Yes, we have to worry about the now, but when it comes to certain things, a lot of things, we have to worry about the future too. How is that going to affect the future? How is that going to affect the future generation? How is that going to affect the people that come in after? How is that going to affect the people that come under this person, or under this, whatever it is, this politician, or how is that going to affect them? And if you're around long enough, if you've lived long enough, if you've experienced things long enough, like I have, living with a disability, you know a thing or two about how something is going to affect a particular group of people or person. And so I would encourage you not to stay quiet, to share your testimony. And you never know who's listening. You never know who's listening. You never know who you impact. You never know how you can change a life. And I see that and experience that every day. It literally only takes one person, one voice. And as people, we cannot say, oh, okay, like I'm just putting myself as an example. We're good with Jesse, because Jesse has a disability, and people are good with me, and I'm very, people person and all that. But then comes another person with a disability, and you're like, nah, you're not welcome here, or I'm not going to talk to you, or we can't do that. For me, it's all or nothing. You're good with me, you're good with all people with disabilities, and you need any kind of assistance and training and all that stuff, I can train. I can do disability etiquette training. I can educate you on how to help people with disabilities. I can train you on our needs. I can train you on pretty much almost anything that you can possibly need. But we have to get to a point where we don't turn our heads, and just because it doesn't affect us, or because you don't think it's necessary, we just turn our heads. No. Again, you respect me. You have a rapport, a friendship, family. We're family, all that stuff with me. Then it's also about what I stand for, right? What I stand for, what you stand for, all of it has to be respected. And I would hope that people that know me know my passion and know what I stand for, and that they would also, kind of like we say, back me up and further advocate on what is right. Not because I believe it, but because it's right. We advocate and we fight for what is right and not for what is wrong. Right? And for me, I know that I think, for me, if it was up to me and I had all the money in the world, everybody with disabilities belongs. Everyone with disabilities can do something. They would be working, all these different things. And I'm very aware that that's not possible for every single person. There's people that simply can't. There's people that need to be in group homes. There's people that need to be in nursing homes. But for the people that can be interdependent with our community, with assistance, because nobody says you have to do this thing called life alone. We have to do something. We have to do the right thing to ensure that we can provide these opportunities. It is a dedication issue. It is a lack of funding issue. It is a funding used wrong issue from a state level and so on. So many issues. So it's not a simple task. It's not something that we can just take care of overnight. It is definitely not something that we can just take care of overnight, but it is something that if we work together, piece by piece, one by one, we can work together to make a difference and better the lives of so many people with disabilities in the community and beyond. And that is my mission. So not really what I was going to talk about today, but yeah, something needs to be done. And this was a reminder for me that I need to get it and really get back to my advocacy and getting out there and being the face. And so it was definitely a reminder. And on that note, we got to think like Jesus when it comes to this thing with disability. We have to think like Jesus in everything. We have to think like Jesus in this world of disability as well. And to be honest, up until New Season time, I didn't realize how much disability was in the Bible. I didn't realize so much of the things that I'm slowly learning, that disability is everywhere in the Bible. And so we call ourselves a child of God. We call ourselves child of the Most High. We call ourselves, we read the Bible, we soak in the Word. Then we need to understand too that disability is in the Bible everywhere. And when we think about, or we talk about thinking like Jesus, when we think about disability, we think about people with disabilities are suffering and like something negative. No, disability is not something negative. It's not something negative, and it's not like, for me, I don't consider that I'm suffering. I'm living my life. I'm living a life of someone with a disability, but I'm not suffering. But I do know that it is my pathway to glory, because I continue to go from glory to glory, because that's what God has ordained for my life, with or without my disability. So what we think, we become, right? Perfectly and wonderfully made in the image of God. And when we get that Christ-like mindset and thinking process, that's how we become so much better as a person and more successful. Thinking about compassion and not pride. It's not pride, it's compassion for the people, compassion for humanity, compassion for those with disabilities, compassion for all people, regardless. Compassion, all those things. Right? All of that good, positive stuff, instead of thinking, well, disability is punishment or disability is sin, like I used to think. No. Because a lot of people in the Bible, important people too, had disabilities. And Jesus sat with all of them. So who are we? If Jesus sat with all of them and included them in all of it and gave them purpose, who are we not to? Here in here in life, who are we not to? Right? So remember that Jesus was already punished for our sins, so we don't have to. Jesus was already punished for our sins so that we wouldn't have to. And so I want to encourage you that if you're living with a disability and you're in this world, you are perfectly and wonderfully made. You are a son, a daughter of the Most High God. And you were born with a purpose. And you are here on this earth. I am here on this earth to live out our purpose. Because you have a purpose. And I make it a duty every single day. Literally, every single day when I'm at work, I make it a duty to let my students know that they are here for a purpose. We listen to gospel music. We do the whole 9 yards. They sing songs. They've taught me, some of them, gospel songs. But I make it a point to let them know that they matter, that they are a child of God, that they have purpose, that I have purpose, that they are part of my purpose. And you have no idea how much that changes their perspective and their love for their day-to-day life, and their love for us as the people that take care of them and do activities with them and all of that throughout the day, because we are Christ's hands and feet, and I think we forget that sometimes. So that's a reminder. That's just a reminder. Focus on the bigger miracle. Focus on the bigger miracle, and every little thing is gonna be all right. Every little thing is gonna be all right. So I want to encourage you. Keep it going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't give up. That's not what we do. It's not what we do around here. We don't give up. We keep going. As hard as it is sometimes, it will be okay. It's worth it. And again, you are here for a reason and a purpose, even if you are living with a disability, whatever it is that you are living with, you're going through a struggle, you're going through a hard time. God's plan is perfect. So every little thing's going to be all right. That was totally random, but I was thinking of something and it took me there, that everything's going to be all right. And be kind to one another. You never know what other people are going through. Respect one another. The whole thing. Pray for each other. Because we were brought on this earth to do just that. To be our brothers and sisters keepers. Pray for each other and know that everything's going to be all right. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. I see Prayer Warrior. Good evening, Prayer Warrior. Who are you, Prayer Warrior? And Sister Cindy, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm happy that you were able to catch Yes with Yesse as well. Thank you guys for joining. And I see some others that haven't said hello. So hopefully you say hello before we go so I can say hello. And yeah, so thank you everyone for joining Yes with Yesse. I appreciate it as always. I look forward to being here with you guys. And remember to like and share. Like and share. Let everyone know that Yes with Yesse comes on Thursdays around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so they can join in as well. All right. Again, if you or anybody you know is in need of services, please make sure that you tell them about Yes with Yesse and everything that is available. There are services available. I never want anybody to think that there's no hope and there's nothing out there. Yes, there is hope. Yes, there is help out there. There's resources, and that is what disability programs and training is all about. You can visit dptmanagement.org, dptmanagement.org, and see what disability programs and training is all about. You can give me a call. Information is on the screen, 954-529-4586. 954-529-4586. And if you say, oh, but I'm not in South Florida, I'm in a different state, that's okay. Give me a call and I'll help you as best I can, and we will work together to reach your goal, whatever it might be, regardless of the rules or the laws in your particular state. We'll figure it out. So do that for me. Visit the website. Some of the services offered are listed on the screen right now. We have advocacy in employment, the school system, helping you fill out applications of the government benefits, Social Security, Medicaid. You need community inclusion, be a part of the Funclusion productions that we have going on for a little over 10 years now. Has been an amazing experience. Skills, mentorship is a big one. I never realized how much we lack in mentorship for individuals with disabilities. I believe in mentors. I have mentors. I think I have different mentors for different aspects of my life. I really do believe that it works to have people mentor you and be a mentor. So if you need a mentor, you need someone to help you get to from point A to point B, questions, whatever it is. That's another thing that we offer, and employment related resources. Resume writing, information, resources. You want to make phone calls, you need any kind of help, we are here for you as well. We service disabled veterans. I was raised by a disabled veteran, Vietnam War, so I come from experience in that regard. So disabled veterans that need help in any of these things, you are more than welcome to give us a call as well, 954-529-4586. On that note, please help us out and support your number one gospel station, New Season Gospel FM. Ways to give are scrolling down on the screen. Of course, you can give by Zelle, 954-536-1821. Cash App is $ New Season WC. And you can also do PayPal, wordmusic47 at hotmail.com. All right. Support in the best way that you can. And I know that our family here at New Season will be greatly appreciative of your support as always. All right. And so today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Fun Friday. I miss Fun Friday. Tomorrow's Friday, so come on back tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, for prayer in his presence alongside Pastor Henry, followed by the Pastor Steve show later on. All right. It's always an awesome time of prayer and worship and everything else. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday at our 11 a.m. service right here at New Season Worship Center. So if it'll be your first time you want to visit, we are located at 4660 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida, 33351 or 33319. And we're here Sunday at 11 a.m. You don't want to miss it. Of course, we will be online as well, so I'll be joining you online for those of you that have joined our online family. All right. Thank you again so much for joining. I want to give you just a moment. If you're watching and you want to jot down some information, you can go ahead and do so. And please share with anyone that you know that might be in need of services. All right. Thank you again. Have an amazing rest of your evening. And I look forward to seeing you, God's willing, next week, Thursday, on another episode of Yes with Yesse.
Hay un nombre que calma todo temor, un amor que consuela el más intenso dolor. Es fiel a sus promesas y me cuidará. De mi fe es el ancla, nunca fallará. Todo va a estar bien, everything will be alright. El mundo en su mano está, tu mundo en su mano está. El creador del universo venció toda ansiedad. Tu mundo en su mano está y todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh. Todo va a estar bien.
Padre, te confieso a corazón abierto que todo es muy incierto en este desierto. Mi vulnerabilidad está al descubierto. Siento que mi barca está muy lejos de su puerto. ¿Por qué será que ya no sale el sol en mis días? ¿Por qué mis noches son tan frías? ¿Por qué será que siento que me falta algo? ¿Por qué este camino gris se siente tan largo? Sé que estás sobrando aunque no te sienta. Sé que estás sobrando aunque no te vea. Sé que voy a salir de esta odisea. Sé que voy a ganar esta pelea. Sé que va a cesar esta marea temporaria. Que en ti yo viviré una vida extraordinaria. Que aunque no pueda entender, me consuela saber que
todo va a estar bien. Everything will be alright. El mundo en su mano está. Tu mundo en su mano está. El creador del universo venció toda ansiedad. El mundo en su mano está. Y todo va a estar bien.